Hello, and welcome to Travel Stories Unpacked, the travel podcast where we talk about all things from the silly to the serious and everywhere in between. I'm your co host, Annie Yu.
And I am Ashley Newton, and we are here to unpack all of the fictional places that we have read about, seen in movies, and seen on TV that we wish we could travel to in real life. And Annie, I was so happy when you brought this topic to the table. I was like, how have we not talked about this yet?
Well, at first I was like, I don't know if this is actually going to pan out. It seems kind of silly, but I feel like we oftentimes in travel fantasize about the places we can travel if, time wasn't an issue, if budget wasn't an issue. We talk about it all the time. So I was thinking, like, why not take it further? What if you can transverse space time itself and go to other universes?
Yeah,
And I
what
don't
if-
mean like,
What if reality wasn't an issue?
yeah, what if we just dissociate it completely? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
think
the dream.
We're gonna be doing that a lot. I
I
think.
yeah. And I don't mean like visiting, Jurassic Park at whatever theme park. I mean like the actual Jurassic
Right,
Park.
that's true. Because we do have some places on here that I guess you could try to like replicate the experience or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, because like Shameless, the TV show is a great example because a lot of
I've never watched that.
it's so good.
Yeah, it's on my like to be watched.
I mean, there's a few seasons like any other show that's been on that long where it's like meh. But like a lot of people, you can go visit the house in Chicago. The Alibi Room is on my list of places I would go visit because
Yeah.
it's like your like dive bar, local, like everyone knows each other kind of bar. And I've always wanted to go. But yeah, you can go to the actual place. But I mean like these places as in like being in that universe.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely. So this was your topic. Did you have a number one in mind? I'm wondering if it's the same. Don't cheat.
we have
I
the same
wonder-
sheet.
Yeah, but I highlighted and numbered mine.
I
So
didn't.
do you have a number one, like of all the places that we're gonna talk about, that is your like peak? Like if a genie was granting you a wish, you know what I mean?
Absolutely the world of Pokemon.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like I've been to like the Pokemon Museum and all the shops in Tokyo, but all it did was make me hunger for more.
Yeah.
And I was growing up like a huge Pokemon fan. I low-key still am. I still have all my original cards,
Right.
mint condition.
Ooh.
I'm thinking it's gonna be my retirement plan soon. One day maybe. But I'm telling you, I feel like I would thrive in the world of Pokemon. I mean, it's literally 10-year-olds walking around playing with wild animals. Like
So I, of course, grew up on Pokemon just like anybody else, but all I really remember is like the trainers. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so is that what you would want to do in the Pokemon world? And if so, who would your number one Pokemon be?
I had an unbeatable team in Pokemon Red. Like I was that person on the block, the one to beat. But within the Pokemon world, you could be a trainer, you could be a nurse, you could be
Oh, I
a
forgot
gym
about
leader.
the nurse.
Nurse Joy, yeah. But I feel like I'd probably be a trainer and make it to the Indigo League. And I think my top Pokemon. See, now you got to think about like, is it a flying type? Is it a fire type? It could be a
Sure.
combo. Your eyes are glazing over right now.
No, I'm trying to remember all the Pokemons, but I really only had one that I was like in love with, and it was Eevee.
I was gonna
And she
say,
would evolve into all the different types,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
depending,
depending
on where
on-
she evolves.
yeah, depending on if you had a moonstone, like I can't
Yeah,
remember.
okay.
I can't remember. I remember all this. But I don't know if it's one I would use in battle. But my favorite has always been Squirtle.
Squirtle, okay,
Yeah.
that's a cute one. I also liked Bulbasaur.
Oh, he was so worthless, but
Like,
so
but
cute.
just cute, you know? Like I kind of felt the same way about Snorlax. Like I was like, what are you doing for anybody? But I want to nap on your belly. You know?
Right,
what I mean?
exactly. Let me tell you, that summer when Pokemon Go came out,
Oh my god.
it's
yeah.
like
My dog never got more walks than the,
yeah,
than that
like I
summer.
was so immersed in it when it first came out. I'm walking around with my headphones in, and I used to live in Lakewood, which is a very pedestrian friendly city in Ohio. And I had my head down, and I'm like, trying to find this. I don't know what came up, like a Dragonair or something. I found myself actually walking through the middle of a baseball diamond through the middle of a game because I wasn't looking up. I was so like dedicated to trying to find this rare Pokemon. I look up, and it's so funny, like how you see people like the crowds. They all shift patterns when something pops up. Like that summer was truly peak
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, and it was the last time I really felt like we were united.
Well, yeah. It was a glorious time.
It was glorious
a
time.
brief blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
So I think I cut you off though with my Eevee love. What would your Pokemon be?
Oh, to fight it? Probably. I feel like the ghost types were always hard to beat. So like maybe like a Haunter.
Oh, okay, I don't think I would even know that one.
Yeah.
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 Can you show me?
Maybe later.
Google it after hours.
But growing up, I was a huge like anime fan to begin with. So another place on my list would be the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not Avatar with the blue people.
Right.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon. And I still am a huge fan. So one of the places there is the North Pole, which should not shock anybody because it's the North Pole and I love going to cool places. But it's like a portal to the spirit world. So it's a world within a world.
See, I saw that. I've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know. And then I saw Spirit World / North Pole on the list, and I was like, that can't be like Santa Claus, North Pole. But then that got me thinking, that's its whole own thing.
That's its own thing.
Like, unless there's any kids listening, then that is a real place that you can go to.
Oh, for sure. He's totally real.
Yeah.
We're not here to traumatize kids yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny, but like that would obviously be on my list. Like
what, the North Pole?
The Santa Claus North Pole. Yeah.
It depends on what version of the North Pole, though. Like, are we talking about like the Santa Claus with...
Okay, I have a very controversial opinion on this. The best fictional depiction of the North Pole to me is from Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn. I know. Okay, so hear me out. The only reason I feel that way is I feel like it looks like an actual place where you could like live and do things. They have like Frosty's Tavern, which I want to get a beer at like so bad. You know, they have like, it's just so cute. The whole thing looks like, you know, when you picture like a little French village, like the architecture, it all looks like that. And like, I will say the Santa Claus North Pole is really appealing, but you don't actually see that much of it in the first Santa
Well, what about like
Claus.
the North Pole from like Elf?
No,
Okay, that's a hard no.
Because it's just like the like claymation style thing, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what are you doing? What's there
It's
to
just
do?
labor.
You just have like little houses, like, you know, there's no like sense of a town or anything.
Well, that sounds like you're kind of describing Hogsmeade from Harry Potter world,
which is high on the
same
list.
Like, okay, I admit, I know I give Disney adults a lot of flack.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am low-key a closet like adult Harry Potter like big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan. And I was such a big fan that so if you grew up reading the books, you know that Goblet of Fire when it came out was like the first one in the series that was like massive, like in length.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So when it came out, my parents refused to buy me and my sister a copy each. So they only bought one copy for Kelly, and then I was gonna get it after her. Well, I was such a jealous kid, and I've said it before. I was a bad kid.
What did you
I
do,
was so
Annie?
jealous that she got to read it before me. That before she could finish, I ripped out pages of it. Yeah, I ripped out pages of the Goblet of Fire. I was such a bad kid.
What did she do when she got like to the pages and they were gone?
I think she's like, well, I don't have a choice. You just got to skip ahead. Which, if you read the books, if you skip any parts, some things just won't make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so jealous. I'm like, why did she get to have it first and not? Yeah, I straight up ripped pages out of the book.
Oh my God, no.
Sorry, Kelly. Sorry. But yeah, Hogsmeade, big fan. Like I said.
If I could choose only one of the places to go in the Harry Potter world, right? Because obviously you have Hogwarts, you have Hogsmeade, you have Diagon Alley. Like, those are the three that come to mind, at least.
Azkaban. Maybe don't go there.
I'm a skip.
Yeah, locals are not friendly.
Yeah, but I feel like for me, like, it's gotta be Hogwarts if I could only pick one.
Really?
Yeah.
But even within Hogwarts, like, what part would you go to?
Exactly, though. I feel like you're kind of cheating. Like, you get so many, like, because you get the forest, I feel. But
I'd probably skip the forest.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, a little danger. But I feel like I would just, like, want to hang out with, like, Hagrid, like, on the grounds. You
like
know what
Hagrid's
I mean?
hut?
Yeah. Like, and just, like,
the
watch.
astronomy tower. Well, maybe not the spoiler alert, you know. That's where Dumbledore died. If you don't know that Dumbledore dies by now, then like where have you been for the past 20 years?
I didn't believe it. I thought it was gonna be one of those like tricked ya, like he comes back and
it was a dream.
Thing. Yeah, I read it like 2.5 books, and I was like, is he not coming back? Like, is this for real?
No, it's really incredible, the whole world of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I've never been like a theme park fan, but if I was ever given the opportunity, I would absolutely go to. I think it's just called Harry Potter World, right?
You know, I'm not sure.
Or the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Okay, that's what they call it. Yeah.
Gringotts, I would love to. Yes, I would love to go to Gringotts Bank.
Oh,
with the dragon.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
So you said you were a Harry Potter fan.
Yes.
Also a Harry Potter fan. Have you ever heard of the show The Magicians?
No.
Okay, so The Magicians was like a sci-fi original, and everybody who's like talked about it likens it to like a grown-up Harry Potter. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like same idea with people like discovering they have magic and going to this magic school, but instead of high school, it's university.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like a bit more adult in like the content. So that made it onto my list. But their magic school is called Breakbills, and that's fine and all, but I would much rather go to Fillory, which is their whole magical world. And you have like, you know, talking bears and you have like springs of magic. But like the whole thing is just so fantastical, right? And like
Yeah.
there's like these beasts that give you quests. And like I would actually, I think, rather go to Fillory than I would go to like Harry Potter Hogwarts land.
See, I went through a phase where I feel like I was trying to fill that Harry Potter void
Sure.
with shows like that. I just never watched it, but I watched like, what is it, The School of Bad and Evil or something? Do you know what I'm
It
talking
was
about?
so bad.
Oh,
Ian.
it was
I didn't
so
make it
bad.
past 10 minutes into that show.
I watched the entire
because
thing.
Kerry Washington's in that, right?
No, this is the one with Charlize Theron.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I watched
No,
something.
no. Kerry Washington is in it.
Okay, because I
Yeah.
watched something and I was like, oh, I love her. And then I was like, girl, what are you doing in this? Like, this
Like,
show
you're-
is trash.
You've fallen far from Scandal. It's not handled.
Oh, no. Well, and then also I wonder with that, I'm like, ooh, am I just like not their demo? Like, was this for children?
You be in the school for evil.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
Same.
I guess, but either way, not entertaining.
Right.
And unfortunately, The Magicians is one of those shows that like you cannot stream. Like you just like
Really?
I'd recommend it to you now, but like good luck finding it. Like you can't. I know it's.
But I think when we talk about fictional destinations, that's usually the first thing that pops in people's minds is like something fantastical or medieval.
Oh yeah, like
so,
fantasy.
Yeah, like I think of like Lord of the Rings,
Ugh.
which I'm sure for you guys maybe know by now, we're both big Lord of the Rings fans.
Huge. Annie, guess what I did this weekend?
You went to the Shire.
No, I wish. But I bought all of the extended edition Lord of the Rings on Blu-ray in like a collectible case.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited. Like I was like just smiling all weekend. I was like, I own this now. Like,
You ever
I'm
watch?
So excited.
I forget where I was flying. It was a long flight, but I watched all 3 directors extended cut like back
What
to
were
back.
you going around the world twice?
I mean,
Like-
that's how it felt, but like it never failed. Oh my gosh. The Two Towers is still one of my favorites.
It's fantastic.
I mean, honestly, like it's one of those movies start to finish, like the trilogies. Like
they're so
I'm not talking about the second trilogy. We don't talk about that one. No, we don't talk about that one. I'm talking about like, you know, Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers and the Return of the King.
Yep.
Like perfection.
Absolutely. And of course that world is filled with like, because it's a travel, you know, it's a journey movie, it's an epic, so they go to all these different places. Do you have a favorite in the Lord of the Rings universe that you wish you could go to in real life?
Absolutely. Rivendell, where the elves are, because I feel like if I were to exist in the world of Lord of the Rings, I'd be like a really bougie elf.
For me it is the Shire. The Shire, 100%.
Yeah, I could totally see
I'm just
that.
a little hobbit at heart, you know what I mean?
You
And,
are.
like,
They're homebodies.
yes,
Yeah.
but they also crave adventure in
I'm ready for an adventure. Well, I laugh because I've told you this before. On my way to work, I always pass up a development where the sign, it's called the Shire.
Yeah.
And every time I drive past it, I always want to do the voice like, the Shire! Baggins! Shire! If you know, you know. But
It
yeah,
is, like,
I
my
absolutely.
favorite comfort movie, and I would say most of the time when I put it on, like to fall asleep, I don't even make it out of the Shire. Like it is
Yeah.
that comforting that it just like lulls
It's
me.
cottagecore.
Yeah, yeah.
It's basically what it was, is cottagecore. And like, yeah, I know you can visit Hobbiton when you go to New Zealand, and that was on my list to do when
Yeah.
I was in New Zealand, but didn't quite make it. But I feel like it wouldn't be the same.
Of course not. Now, would I do it? 100%.
Yeah.
But like, I want the full experience.
hairy
you know
feet
what
and
I
all.
mean? The magic fireworks. Yeah, no, I'll take the hairy feet. That's fine. It's a small price to pay.
I mean, I just think I would either be a really like bougie elf, like the bougiest of the bougiest, or I'd be like an orc swinging an axe into someone's face. There's no in between for me. Or I'm just down in the gutter in Mordor, like.
Yeah. Anything else that we have that is sort of like, oh, Atlantis?
Depends on what Atlantis. Are we talking about like the Atlantis from Aquaman or
Do you think I am?
no?
Yeah, no.
Atlantis from the movie?
100%.
Okay.
With Milo that like
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
the animated. I was obsessed with that movie when it came out. Like obsessed.
So was I. Cause like growing up, I really wanted to be like a
Archaeologist. Because of
Archaeologist.
the Mummy.
yes.
Same.
It's like they took every single attractive person in the 90s and put them into one movie together, and I ain't
Still holds
mad.
up. Still holds up
It
in
still holds
every
up.
way. It is
Yeah.
a fantastic
Not the
film.
remake with Tom Cruise, though. That one sucked.
Crime. It's a
absolute
crime
crime.
against cinema that even happened.
Made me want to write a letter to the manager. But
All caps.
all caps, so upset. But yeah, like I said, I think when we talk about fantasy, that's usually what comes to mind. But you mentioned sci-fi earlier.
Yeah.
I'm a huge sci-fi fan.
Same.
Huge in every aspect, horror, comedy, like you name it. Like Aliens is probably one of my favorite movies. So I would say if we're going that route, like I would love to go to anywhere in space.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. I saw that on your list and I was like, that's a no for me.
Yeah.
And I love sci-fi. Like anytime there's a new sci-fi show or movie, like I am first in line. But the idea of being in space is terrifying. And if you are not scared of it, I don't know what does scare you. Nothing.
Well, I mean, like again, like what version of space? Space from Aliens or space from like Guardians of the Galaxy?
I don't want any of it. I'm like just the idea of like
you just want to stay and you just want to stay in your little hobbit like
the idea of seeing Earth from not Earth is terrifying. And like just it's always expanding, there's no end. What does that even mean? Like I will go down such a rabbit hole of existential panic the more I think about space. So like I don't think I would pick those even if I could just like
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so, especially if actual space travel was involved or like space stations or like Battlestar Galactica vibes. I'm a pass. I want to hang out in the Shire, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right, with your hairy feet. And
my hairy feet up, no less. Like I am chilling.
Drinking a pint of ale.
Yes.
I would love to one day, maybe, I don't know, freeze my body cryogenically to experience space travel. And I'm not talking about like the $250,000 tickets on.
No, you're talking distance. Like where they put you in like in all the sci-fi movies, like that hypersleep and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wish that was a reality. And maybe it will be, but we'll be long gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Aside from like the space freeze-dried ice cream that you can get at the museum, that's as close as I want to get to life in space.
Like Dippin' Dots.
The ice cream of the future.
And it still is.
Yeah, so many promises.
What's
were
the
made,
science behind that? I
Dots.
still don't get it, but every time if I do go to Cedar Point, you can always rely on a Dippin' Dots cart being right around the corner.
You can, yeah, that's so true.
For sure. So speaking of being around the corner, now I'm thinking about like what is like grounded in reality. Like I feel like
for me,
I already know which one you're gonna say.
Genovia.
Oh,
because Genovia. This is so embarrassing.
Again, if you know, you know.
When I was a child, I did not realize that Genovia was fiction.
I don't think a lot of people did.
I was like, oh, I can go
It's like they
someday.
took the most generic name, culture, language, accents of Europe and put into a blender and out popped Genovia.
Well, and when that guy was singing that national anthem, I believed it with every note. I was like, that is also my home and native land.
Yes.
Like,
You're like, am I part Genovian?
It didn't come up on my 23andMe, but maybe next time. So like that's probably the one that like I would love to visit if I could. That seems more like it could be real.
Right. Well, I mean, you put on here, what is it, Central Perk?
Did I put that on there?
Maybe I did. Okay, so Central Perk is from Friends.
Yeah.
And here's my unpopular opinion of the day. I think Friends is a terrible show.
Yeah.
I never
That's
thought
why I thought you put it on there and I was like, why did she put that on there?
Maybe I put it on there so we could talk about it.
So you could bash it?
So I could bash it. I'm just gonna say it. Friends is not funny. It's problematic at best. Like it's not funny. Like, the whole like pivot, like why is this so funny to people? I don't understand.
I'm a fan. I'll say it.
It's like that brand of comedy I just never found fun, like that 90s like.
Yeah.
But even so, like to this day it has a cult following and I just don't get it.
Were
like
you more of like a Seinfeld gal?
Definitely not.
Okay, I feel like people are usually one or the other.
I
You
was
don't
more
like either.
I was sister.
Oh, I loved Sister,
Oh, that was a
Sister.
good one.
Sister.
Sister.
Never knew how much I missed you.
Exactly. But like it's the people like who just like treat Friends like it's the best show ever. I'm like, it's not funny. It really makes me like grind my teeth.
Yeah, you're passionate.
I'm
about
very
your hatred.
passionate about like I'm getting sweaty.
So that would be on your no list.
That would be on
that's
my
a no-go.
because we do have a no list.
Yeah. And I'm a fan of the show, but I've never been one that's like, oh, I gotta do the New York tour and I gotta go see. Like it's just, it's just comforting. It just reminds me of like, I don't know, growing up, having no real friends and only having the friends on TV. But like,
Acquaintances.
yeah.
Not friends.
But it's not on my list of like travel goals or even
Never.
fake travel goals.
No.
Like, also, though, I don't like coffee, so what would I be doing there?
That's true. That's true.
What
Especially
am I doing here?
overpriced New York coffee.
Oh, stupid big cups. Yeah.
The fact that it's on a list where other places are like Mordor, the Upside Down, like, Central Perk from the Friends.
Camp Crystal Lake is a no.
Yeah, although I don't know. I think
You think you'd survive, don't you?
I don't think I'd make it to the end, but I put up a fight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't think I have final girl energy.
I was
but
just gonna say it's giving final girl.
I'm like second to final girl.
I'm first death in any horror movie, like the dramatic, screamy, the Drew Barrymore. Right?
You're the one that says, "I'll be right back" within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Never back.
And then she's
gone.
She's gone. Like, first of all, they talk about that in that movie, like the rules of horror movies.
Yeah.
Don't go off anywhere by yourself.
Yeah,
but that was a swerve, though. If that, I wish I could watch Scream again for the first time. Now, have you ever watched a show that you were so entrenched with that you kind of pictured yourself as a cast member? For me, it was The OC. The OC at the time was like a cultural phenomenon. I was like Misha Barton, like she was the it girl of the moment.
Sure. I missed this whole cultural transaction.
Really?
This whole thing.
The
I didn't
OC
watch
was
a single one.
Okay, so I love The OC because it actually was the first time I was introduced to like indie rock. Because one of the characters on the show, Seth, his favorite band is Death Cab for Cutie, which now is one of my favorite bands. I never thought I'd be that kind of person who has a band tattoo, but I have a band.
Tatted.
Yeah, exactly. So that led me to like a whole genre of music, which I never heard of before up until that point. So thanks, The OC.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Newport Beach, The OC. And I've actually been to Newport in California. It's not the same.
No, of course
No,
not.
it's not the
Of course
same.
not. You know, though, I feel like, especially having this conversation now, we have to bring up the Land of Oz.
Okay, yes, because I can't get away from it.
No. Have you seen... Okay, let's start from the very beginning. Have you seen The Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Have you seen Wicked, the Broadway play?
No, because another popular opinion, I hate musicals.
Oh God, even in person? I thought that was just a
especially
movie thing.
in person.
Oh, Annie, I'm so sad.
I know.
So
I'm not.
So you haven't seen obviously the musical,
No.
the movie.
No.
Okay.
Is this like High School, the musical, the TV show? Like what is going on?
The journey to get to the Wicked movie is actually like so interesting, but since you don't like musicals, I'm not gonna like bore you with it.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I just because like when I'm being told a story, whether it's a movie or whatever, I just want to be told a story.
Yeah.
Like stop singing.
Although
like every time my nieces made me watch Frozen with them, like I wanted to rip my hair out. There's so much singing in that movie.
There's a lot of singing. Although Maura Dina Menzel, powerhouse, but like I would not want to get transported into like most musicals. But I will say there is something about the Land of Oz in Wicked, especially the intricate effort that they went through with like planting real flowers and everything. Like they don't use a lot of green screen. Like everything is these hard sets, and it's a beautiful movie. So like I would absolutely put that on my list. But speaking of hard sets in beautiful movies instead of green screen, Barbieland.
Okay.
The fact that all of those sets were hand painted, 5,000%, I would want to go to Barbieland.
They committed to that. Like it was actually really everything from the car to the way like Margot Robbie would drive with her hands like this.
Or not, and then not at all, because Barbies don't have to drive their car. So like I love that scene when both of her hands are just, wait, hi Barbie.
She doesn't use the stairs in the beginning, she just floats down.
Yeah, because you don't make your Barbie walk down the stairs. Yeah. Like you just pick them up and put them where you need to go. So like I don't know. That movie is still like peak to me. It's fantastic. So
I mean, it was like
I'm going there.
Campy and over the top, but still self-aware, I feel like.
Intentionally.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
everything was intentional. So yeah. Plus I love the aesthetic.
It was something different, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's true or not, but I read that, you know, that specific color pink, I guess is actually copyrighted or trademarked.
Makes sense.
By, was it Mattel?
Yeah.
And they used so much of it that caused a shortage of that color pink in the US.
Sense, though,
I'm
like you're not usually doing things on that scale.
Oh my gosh.
You know, not for Barbie anyway.
So you mentioned earlier that you're terrified of going anywhere in outer space. What about in the ocean other than Atlantis? Because for me, it's Bikini Bottom.
You know, what is there for me to do?
A Krabby Patty.
Just go to the Krusty Krab. Oh my god, I couldn't think of it. Like, where am I going?
I mean, yeah, there's
jellyfishing.
There's
I would
jellyfishing.
jellyfish.
You can go to the chum bucket.
It doesn't have the same appeal to me as like other, I guess, cartoony destinations. But I guess if I could enter any cartoon world, I would just want to enter the X-Men universe and be an X-Men.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, that's a good one. X-Men Evolution. I loved X-Men Evolution. And I feel like as an adult, I don't know which X-Men I would be. My favorite X-Men is Gambit.
He's your favorite?
Yeah.
Wow.
He throws exploding playing cards. How cool is that?
I don't know. My favorite really does tend to change, especially based on like what X-Men version you're watching.
Yeah.
You know, I have another one on my list that was like top tier, and it's actually from a series I'm reading now. Have you heard any of the talk about the Court of Thorns and Roses series? I don't know. I stumbled on it on Book Talk. And I was like, okay, like I'll get into this series. Super into it. And in it, their world is broken up into courts. Like, you know how in the Hunger Games, they're districts or whatever. Like in this fantasy world, they're like this court and that court. And there is one that they call the Court of Dreams. And it's in the Night Court. And it's like just like perpetual, dreamy, perfect nighttime. You know what I mean? And like everything smells like citrus and sea. And the way that they describe it in the book, I am like, yes, absolutely. Because they have all different courts based on seasons and days, but that's the one that appeals to me the most. So if you're reading this book series, please let me know which court you'd want to go to, because Annie can't converse, so I want to know your opinion.
I was going to make a really stupid food court joke, but I think I'm going to let it go.
I love a food court, though.
Same.
Just walk around, do your sample lab.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So what about places to avoid? We said Mordor.
I think the Upside Down is a very strong one.
I think that's a strong contender for one I would absolutely never want to. Because it's not like you go to the Upside Down. You end up in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
And still, hashtag justice for Barb. I'm still on that.
True.
Yeah.
You know, though, I think you have some on your go list that are even on my no list. Like,
really?
You had Tron City as a go.
Oh, yes.
For
absolutely.
me, I think that's a no. Like,
again, I love sci-fi. And also, Tron is a great movie.
See, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while, but it's not a very happy place, right?
No.
Yeah. like, I think you can tell the places that I've listed. Like, I want, like,
Green, like,
Barbieland.
Yeah, I'm over here like Tron, outer space.
Where no one can hear you scream. You also had Jurassic Park on your go list.
I would absolutely go to Jurassic Park.
And that's a big no for me. But I feel like that's because I got the lesson from the movie. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I get it. Like, we shouldn't do that. Now, granted, if it really existed and was more even like Jurassic World, where it's so commercialized and like, you know, everybody's desensitized to it, like, would I go? I mean, realistically, probably.
Every time I read a news headline from like a reputable science journal, like scientists discover feather like embedded in amber, I'm like, we learned our lesson. Let's not do this. Like, like absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, if there's anything that's on your absolute no list, we'd love to hear it. So drop that in the comments as well. But pretty much for me, it's anything that's going to have conflict. Like you had said too, anywhere in like the DCU or like the MCU. So like the comic book world, that's a no for you. Although we did both just say X-Men, but that's different.
No, I mean, like, I would hate to be living in, like, Metropolis and, like, oh, crap, my car got thrown through a bank again.
Could you imagine living in Star City where all of a sudden it's just, like, King Shark?
Yeah, like what the heck is going on this week? Like, your insurance would be through the roof. Like, oh, I can't make it into work today because Superman threw my car into Canada.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, my office building's gone, actually, because the Hulk just climbed through it. But, like, that's why I love The Boys.
Oh, I love that show.
So if you have not watched The Boys, this is not even a call to action to watch it, because it is very not safe for work.
Yeah,
like,
it's bordering on NC-17.
Right, it's very, very adult. So, but I think that is like an accurate portrayal of what it would actually be like to have to live among these like superhumans. Like, it would not be fun.
No, it would not. Like, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. Well, just like those crazy street fights where it's like, all right, so 4th Avenue's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just rubble now. So, you know, we're going to have detours
Right.
for, especially if
Now-
it was like Ohio.
Now,
Or
if
just
I
under construction.
maybe if I, it's just Cleveland, Ohio, with all the potholes. Now I would live in the city if I maybe owned like a construction company because I'd be killing it.
Oh, yeah, that's
You know what I
rank,
mean?
Oh, I work for Superhero Insurance.
Yeah.
Do you have your premiums?
Yeah, exactly. Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Within that aspect of existing within the ECU or the DCU and the MCU, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank
Like,
you.
oh man, I gotta go join the League of Assassins
That's-
now.
that's
Ra's
one-
al Ghul is calling my name. Like, I can't make it into work, boss.
That's one of those situations where I will take the theme park version. I will go to the Marvel world and the Star
Yeah.
Wars worlds at the theme parks, and I will be just as happy there as happier than I would be in real life. Yeah, for sure.
Now, you've, I feel like, really expressed your love for these magical, universes. But I
Yes,
can't believe we've
yes.
gotten this far now without mentioning Halloween Town.
Oh my gosh. So trying to pick just one like spooky destination was kind of hard, but in the end it has to be Halloween.
It's gotta
Town.
be Halloween
It has to
Town.
be Halloween Town. Like
Yeah.
the whole just every single aspect to like the ghosts in the saunas to
Mhm.
like the vampires going to the dentist like
And then wasn't like the bus driver a skeleton?
yeah,
or
yeah,
or the
taxi
cat?
driver. Yeah. So like I love the whole thing. And then I can't remember if it's the first one or the second one where everybody goes gray and they're all boring
Yeah.
and normal. Like even
Oh my
that
god, it's like
part,
the
I was
episode
that's
of
funny.
that's like the episode of Fairy
Oh,
the-
Fairy World.
Yeah.
From Fairly
Yes,
Oddparents.
Fairly Odd,
Yeah.
and everything is gray except for Timmy's hat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That's a good one though.
That is a good one.
And like honestly, such a good show. And like I
Yeah.
wanted fairy godparents so
Same.
bad. So we covered, and we of course want to hear from you. And what is on your list of places that you'd want to visit, that you wouldn't visit, that you wish were real, that you're happy or not, wherever you fall on the spectrum. But we did actually already ask our loyal YouTube community what their thoughts were on this. So if you wish that you could have gotten your voice into this podcast ahead of time, please make sure that you are following us and subscribed on YouTube, because we'll be doing more polls and conversations like this so you can get your opinions in. But I really want to thank the people that did share their thoughts with us. So one of these suggestions was from Sunbeach24, and they want to visit Neverland.
Neverland from Peter Pan.
Second star to the right or something like that, and straight on till morning. You
Oh.
never watched Peter Pan?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
You know what? Maybe when I was little, but
Yeah.
'cause I
it
think
wasn't
it-
my favorite.
you know, because when you say Neverland, I think of that movie with Johnny Depp, and I can't stand Johnny Depp.
I actually don't know that movie, but I assumed that they were talking about just like the Neverland. But I watched that horrible show Once Upon a Time.
So did I.
Oh,
I
way
committed
too much
all.
of that
I
show.
committed way too much time
Yep.
until the end.
Yep, they really fall off at the end there. But anyway, so
Yeah.
then whenever I think of Neverland, I think of like that version for some reason, and it's like pretty dark and scary and like miserable.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's coming back to
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
So, but
yeah.
I guess like the cartoony version of Neverland is also kind of dark to me. So I
well,
don't know.
you
if-
know the whole theory that the kids who
Yeah.
don't grow up are like dead.
Yeah, it's kind of a dark story.
Wow,
So-
this took a turn.
So I don't know if that is going to make it on my list, Sun Beach, but thank you for your submission. And then we also had a submission from Valerie Simmers,
Oh,
4922.
Valerie, what's
Hey,
up?
Val. And she said Utopia, which of course I had to follow up, and she did not let me know. So Valerie, if you're watching this, please let us know which Utopia you meant, because like there's the general idea of like a utopia, but then there's like the first iteration in the book by Thomas More. So are we getting that, linear with it, or are you just talking about Utopia of the Seas? Because if you are, I got news for you. You can visit that one.
It's real.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments. Annie, what are some other ways that our listeners can get in touch with us?
You can send your stories to us at travelstoriesunpacked@gmail.com. Especially if it's a little bit longer and you want to remain a little anonymous, we'll make sure that happens too.
Absolutely. And then if you're watching or listening on your favorite podcast platforms, you can text Annie and I directly right through that description. There'll be a link right at the top that says to share your travel stories and opinions, and that goes right to us. So we'd really love to hear from you.
And don't forget to tune into our channel next week, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for KHM Today. As for us, we'll be back with a new episode of Travel Stories Unpacked on February 14th. And this podcast is brought to you by KHM Travel Group, a leading host agency for independent travel agents. Head to khmtravel.com to learn more.